Who taught you? What books you need to read? How to build a 6-7-figure business. For those of you who really want to grow up, you can build 8 and 9. How to live a wealth cycle versus a lifestyle cycle. How to be like the wealthy and live like successful people. Now, let's talk about how to build a 6- and 7-figure business. This is probably one of my favorite conversations. So back to this book. There's also another book I wrote called Put More Cash in Your Pocket, which is a little bit more of a starter book. How to get 500 to 1,000. It's a great book for your teenagers of how to just get a side hustle moving, right? It's designed, actually, the Put More Cash book was designed in 2011, but it was designed during that era where if people, and write this down, you're gonna be shocked. If people would have made $742 more per household, they wouldn't have gone into foreclosure. Now, don't tell me that any household in America cannot make an extra 1,000. Divide by 4 weeks, that's $250 a week extra. Divide by 5, that's $50 a day. Somebody in the household has a skill set to make $50 an hour. You could tutor, you could do videography, you could go fix somebody's social site. So you staying broke is a choice. You not like making 6 and 7 figures is a choice because you're not willing to spend the money to get the right education. This whole YouTube channel is free, for gosh sakes, like you should be consuming it. And then come to our marketplace, make some money, and then lean in and let us coach you privately and let's get going. Like it's a choice to stay stuck. See, 6 figures is only $416 a day. So if you think about $100,000, it's $8,333.33 a month, right? Divide by 4, divide by 5 days, it's about 400, just over $400 a day. You say, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do for $400 a day? I don't know, what do you do right now? If you're an engineer, have a consulting firm. If you do websites, do extra websites. If you're a good copy editor, do copy editing. You can do anything. You could start stores online. Shopify makes it easy. Go to our store and just check out shopintegratedwealthsystems.com. Check it out, see what we did on a store. Be an affiliate. I didn't sell my own stuff for a very long time because I didn't have any stuff. See, and a lot of you are waiting until you're an influencer or you have stuff. You don't have to have any stuff. You can sell my stuff. You can sell Bob Proctor's stuff. You can sell whoever's stuff. Like there's tons of affiliate programs out there. Go to ClickBank. Go be an affiliate out there. There's thousands of things you could go sell of other people's. Go be in direct sales. I love direct sales. I'm in a lot of direct sales right now. And if you want to be in one of my direct sales companies, I'm in Send Out Cards. I'm in a home, like just basic laundry detergent and dishwashing soap, like all that stuff I get through my direct sales company. I do my skin with a direct sales company, all my skincare. Like I do wine, I'm in a whole bunch of them. Now they'll tell you can't be in a whole bunch, and you can be. You have to legally do it through different companies and different structures. It all works out. My point is, you not making money and getting to 6 and 7 figures is an excuse. The beginning, do something easy. Do something easy, fast, simple, because you have so much to learn to be an entrepreneur. You have to learn to market. You gotta learn to sell. You gotta learn cash flow. You've gotta learn to put a team together. You gotta learn systems. You have all this stuff to learn. So don't make the first thing like really hard. That's why I love my path. My path was, I went to the Rich Dad Poor Dad group. By the time I was done, and I don't speak probably enough about this, I wasn't just selling their stuff in their cash flow game. I was selling Bob Proctor's, Mark Victor Hansen's, Robert Allen's. Why did I get to know all the greats? Jim Rohn stuff, Zig Ziglar stuff. I sold all their stuff. I had 18 products of 18 different experts that I sold, right? Because I thought everybody needed a little bit of everything. So I learned to be in the system, learned to do a database. I learned to market. I learned to sell other people's stuff. I learned cash flow. Then all of this came to mind, right? All my Millionaire Maker stuff came to mind. So do it easy, do it fast, and get to 6 figures. Here's the problem with 6 figures. Well, first of all, getting to 100,000, you're in the 3% club. That's how bad the statistic is. If you make 80,000 or more, you're in the top 25% of income earners. Like this is a disgusting statistic. You need to write it down. So if you make 80,000 or more, you're in the top 25% of income earners. If you make 100,000 or more, you're in the top 3%. 3. And I'm trying to make you millionaires, which is 7 figures, which is a 1%er. So, so many people say, well, how come so many people haven't done it? I said, because people are lazy. And here's the bigger thing. I don't know that they're actually lazy. They have really stuck habits. They love doing what's comfortable, right? We do this fun Steve Harvey video in one of my shows where he teaches you how to jump and how you're gonna jump and your parachute's not gonna open and you're gonna get bruised and you're gonna like slam across these rocks and you're gonna get some bumps. So that's not failing, that's just learning. And I think a lot of you have things coded in your mind so oddly and inaccurately, it doesn't work. And then what happens with money is like there's no one to help coach and mentor and guide you. One of my new companies in brands is called the Financial Fitness Trainer. So I want you to think of us as a trainer. We're going to put you on a conditioning program to learn millionaire skills, millionaire habits. See, what happens in the financial space is when you have a license, you're limited to the conversation because your broker dealer says, well, you can only talk about that. You go into Schwab, they can only talk about Schwab products. They can only talk about Fidelity products. Real estate, you can only talk about their products. Insurance, they can only talk about their products. So who glues it together? So to me, that's the distinction I put together for this company, is I help you understand how do you, like anybody can say, how do you put the strategies into tactics is what I do differently. So how do you take your companies and pay bills differently so you use all your deductions and you're not commingling? Who teaches you that? A CPA won't. You think a bookkeeper might, but they're probably not millionaires, so they don't know how. So I look millionaire maker style and say, how do you put cash flow together in an easy way? How do you put the systems together in an easy way? How do you use that right? How do you do that right? We're the implementation glue of all these strategies that you hear about, but you're not sure how to do about. So why 6 figures is critical? I'm gonna keep repeating this to you. You're gonna live on a bunch of it. You're gonna pay tax on some, and then you've got to actually buy some things. Like for $1,500, we'll do your marketing and show you how to do the things we do and how we get leads. But then you got to learn to sell. You're gonna need some assistants. You're gonna need a bookkeeper, an accountant. Like you got to pay for things. So 100 grand isn't enough to do all the things that we're gonna tell you. Once you get 6 figures, getting to 7 is easier. Your first 6 is the hardest work in the first year or two that will work with you. And then after that, you'll be off to the races because now you know how to market. You just expand your marketing, expand your sales, expand your cash flow. You'll hit a 7-figure business. So there is some process to it. Who was I talking to the other day? It was awesome. And by the way, I want comments in the chat and talk about what's going on with what you're doing, the questions you have. Oh, I know, I was talking to a business owner and she was really scared to invest money in better marketing systems, right? And so I said, here's what's interesting is you're at a certain level of cash flow and you feel a little bit better and you put a little bit of money away. But then you're at that point where now you got to go hire somebody. So now you hire somebody, you have to hire a better system, all of a sudden your cash flow goes down. So you're going to go from 6 to 7 figures and you, unless you have a good investing strategy, aren't going to feel like your cash flow is getting any better because you're buying yourself away to growth. You're going to buy more people. You're going to buy more systems. You're going to buy more time. But then you get to be free. That's the part you don't get. You're not willing to take a risk on yourself to get off your rear, let me guide you and mentor you and sequence you that you can get past that 6 figures. You will have the money. But the cash flow is an interesting roller coaster for a lot of people. And it feels odd because you don't have good systems to do it. And then you get stagnant. And if you go to my integratedwealthsystems.com, you can take a quiz, see if you're in the stagnant cash flow category of the quiz. Stagnant cash flow is a choice. All right, you've got to surge sales. Making more money solves everything. So you surge sales and then guess what? You're going to need to buy a team to do a good YouTube channel like this. You're going to have to buy a team to do better social media. You're going to have to buy a team to help make you a bestseller. This doesn't come at no cost, and I guarantee you, you cannot figure all this out. It's not worth your lifetime. I have figured so much out. I have an awesome team that you get access when you come closer. Oh, you just got to get it done. It's interesting to watch you struggle and why you choose to struggle. Once you get to 6 figures, you accelerate 3 things: marketing, sales, cash flow, of course, your team, and 7 figures is around the corner. I went from hardly any and I got it. And then I did like 359 or 3 something, high in the 300s my first year. I went straight to 1.7 million the next year because I figured out how to get a better team. I figured out the systems. And it wasn't a big team, and we did 1.7. Then we went 3.6, and we just kept going. So you can do it. Money solves a lot of problems. And honestly, money is actually what makes a huge impact. How many of you live in the, can I afford it per month thinking? Like that's your psychology. Like that doesn't occur to millionaires. Or you've already had this, what I call the saboteur program in your system. You've attempted a lot of things. You've paid some interesting coaches and mentors, and nothing's happened. So you feel like you're a failure.